Hello, and thank you for attending today. We'll be getting to our feature presentation here in a moment. Dylan from Allianz is going to be speaking with us about an exciting accumulation release that they have that occurred last week that the phones have been lighting up for here. And before we get started, as we may have people in the room who are new to IAMS and also those who are existing with us, just going to cover a couple points here with the IAMS story, and then we'll get our start and introduce to Dylan and go from there. So thank you again for attending today. And as we go forward, if you are new with IAMS, new within your first 180 days, we do have a incentive to get you writing with us, and to also help overcome or supplement any marketing or strategic decisions you have in your practice based on your production with us. So first 180 days, you can see on the screen here different levels. If you have interest in this, we'll get you a copy of it. Well, I'll make sure it's in the packet I send out to everybody via email. But an example here, if you look at the $500,000 level to the bottom left, these are annuity premium amounts for $500,000 during your first 180 days with us, and premium, not application count. It can be multiple apps or one. FIA business, fixed index annuity, you're going to receive, in addition to your compensation from the carrier, an option to have a 5,000 piece postcard mailing sent out, or cover a seminar mailing that you're doing, a similar option. Postcard mailing, a billboard ad, seminar presentation, an email, full email distribution system, and a full website put together or overhaul if you need that. A stay at Ritz-Carlton, which is great. It's a trip for you and your family, not one with employees, etc. And those are some options there. On the 500 level, if you got cash as an option, and the 250. In addition to that, it also mixes in target premium for life insurance and also single premium life business, which we'll take a look at how those go in a second. But essentially it's 1/10%. So 50,000 in target would be the same as your 500 level on annuities. Once you are if you are coming to us new, it may have been that you were a referral to us. We do appreciate the referrals, and we also have a referral program set up to get you paid on referrals out of our pocket. Way that works is you refer the agent to me as an example, as the annuity sales director. I'm going to work with my contracting team and with that agent to get them set up with the contracts they need. And once that is done, you'll receive a $50 cash check, a one-time referral bonus for that agent. And in addition to that, when they start writing business, for the life of their relationship with IAMS, you're going to receive basis points on their production. So you can see it here, 0.20% on indexed annuity, life target, single premium life's a little higher. You're going to receive those additional points on their business into the future. So sky's the limit. There's not a limit on how many people you can refer. Great way to get additional marketing dollars and help out someone that if you feel they'd be a good fit for us as well. On top of that, once you are with us and that agent is with us outside of your 180 days, the money doesn't stop there. $100 per 100,000 in indexed annuity premium is the example down below. This is your marketing reimbursement account with IAMS. These dollars can be used for any of our marketing programs and lead programs in conjunction with anything you may be doing to get in front of the clients that are ultimately leading to the product sales and revenue that we all generate. $200 per 100,000 a single premium life. It's stepped up there for that and target premium. But those three incentive programs I will send the details along with. If you have any questions, please let us know. We appreciate the referrals. We want to compensate you for the business as well that you write. When you do write business with us, you'll notice something we hope, like others have. Our service level guarantee is one of our strongest value points here. Since the late 80s, we pride ourselves in services, and we don't just speak to speak, we talk the talk. Agents rave about the ability to get a live caller when you call IAMS. We have a 2-ring guarantee here. Sometimes we miss the second ring, sometimes we don't. Our goal is to not miss that second ring. Bottom line is you always get a live person with IAMS to be able to help you with where you need to go, or even help you with the question that you think you have to get to the right department. And so we want to do that. We appreciate it, and we know others do too. In addition to that, our back office support, we have a team of annuity sales case managers, as well as life insurance sales case managers. Everything from submission of your application to payout of commissions we are handling here internally at the IAMS office. Our team of annuity sales support and life support, each focused on a handful of individual carriers. Therefore, they are experts at that particular carrier. It's paperwork, it's processes, suitability practice, and they have contacts and relationships built up directly with that carrier. And we found that, and I have lived this working for 2 other IMOs prior to IAMS in my career. That makes it a lot easier for a relationship to be built, and we know how far that can go when dealing with some of the carrier reps. It can turn a no into a maybe and possibly a yes. So we do that, all working for you here. In addition to my staff, myself, my other associate sales directors and annuity sales directors, we are here to help with the design of your cases, quotes, etc. So if you need something, give us a call. Website, if it's after hours or if you just want to get something on your own, which happens, I do it all the time myself in the evening. Everything from a form for an in-service contract, like as an example with Allianz here, all the way through applications, rates, income analysis. You can run quotes on our website that will compare every income benefit rider out there to one another and give you a top 3, printout based on income, accumulation, etc. All available on our website 24 hours a day. In addition to that, on our website, if you haven't checked out the support section, there's a section there called the Sales Resource Library. And underneath the Sales Resource Library, there's a service that allows you to, it's essentially like Google for the financial services industry. You can type in any topic. As an example, I did one earlier for inherited Roth and inherited IRAs, and it will pull up tax compliant information in this case, or compliant estate planning information that is meant to a full brochure. It printed out a 20-page document for me, everything you'd want to know about those conversions for the client. And right from our website, you're able to download that. We can also put your logo and contact information on it, so it sets you to the level that they are expecting from you and that you've been giving them, but visually, so that you have backup material. All that can be found on our website. E-applications, speaking of websites, we work with Internet. We work with Firelight for majority of our annuity applications, iPipeline for our life insurance, the majority of those, and Sunfire, which is the new option of several companies. Bottom line is more companies are coming on every day to e-applications at the same time. More companies are opting to get away from a paper application. I spoke with a carrier this morning that is doing that within this year as an option. So if you have any questions on getting set up or navigating Firelight, give us a call. We can help with that. It'll make your life a lot easier, even if you're not the sharpest tack like myself with computers. The ability to copy an application multiple times for the same client and not have to retype things is alluring, as well as the ability to get your commissions much faster because the errors on not in good order applications are virtually removed completely by doing it that way. Creative marketing, we have an in-house advertising agency. Essentially what we did was we did not hire or consult with an ad agency that we partner with and pay as a third party. Instead, we decided to build one here. So we started with the ground up, pay for each one of our employees' benefit packages, everything from our graphic designer to Ryan and Julie, our writer, everything on social media. These individuals work for IAMS, therefore work for you. And the importance of that is they are focused on the insurance and financial services, particularly retirement planning industry and accumulation, like you are, versus the local sofa store and just advertising in general. So because we also maintain that relationship, your marketing material created here through IAMS is your property. Some advertising teams will title that, and that's actually their property. And once you leave them, they retitle it to another agent, and boom, there you have it. We don't do that here because it's not a profit center for us. We want to be able to enhance your image so that you can do more production with us and help the wheel going. Speaking of that wheel and building relationships with your clients, if you are a RIA looking to get away from the compliance headaches and join an independent that would become an IAR underneath an RIA, or if you're wanting to pick up your 65 just for the ease of doing ACAT transfers and controlling the entire client's net worth picture in many cases before moving money to annuities, or if you're in it for the relationship building with the client, increase in revenue, ongoing, the ability to evaluate your practice. There's a number of reasons to take a look at picking up your 65. If you're looking at doing that, we can help. Everything from the management of the books, opening your U10 or your window in the beginning, as we have our corporate RIA, IAMS Wealth Management. If you would like to speak to someone there, we can get you on the phone with our contact here at IAMS Wealth. as well to go through that. Lower fees, one of than other RIAs here, as well as a special love for the annuity product, as you can imagine, in there too. So if you do have an interest in IAMS Wealth Management or just a question, let us know, and we'll make sure when we loop back around with you, we get you that. Our life and annuity training academies have started back up again. These are 2-day training academies that cover everything from indexed annuities all the way through business insurance concepts, wealth transfer, IAMS, breaking down individual contracts, and as well as rubbing elbows with other producers in the room doing the level of revenue that you are. These are great events. We cover the cost of travel, food to get you there in partnership with our carrier. This one coming up here in May is going to be with Athene. And if you have an interest or you'd like to reserve your seat or get on the consideration list, please let me know. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. If you haven't checked out YouTube, you can type into our IAMS YouTube website search engine anything you'd like, and a number of topics will pull up, like accumulation, Allianz. Now today's webinar will pull up. Check that out if you haven't. And without further ado, Dylan, are you still with me here?
I'm still with you.
Excellent, man. Well, I'm almost out of breath. People are wondering. No, I'm going to transfer over to Dylan. Dylan is a great resource here to IAMS and definitely to Allianz, and appreciate you working with us today, Dylan. I'm going to change this over to you and talk about this exciting accumulation opportunity that I know we're all waiting to hear. Excellent, man. We see it. So
awesome. I'm just going to get that pulled up here, so it should be full screen, correct?
Perfect. You got it. Yep.
Awesome. Well, yeah, appreciate you having me on, Justin. I'm excited to get to talk a little bit about one of our new products here. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Allianz, but if you are, I'm sure you're aware that for majority of the last 10 to 15 years, we've really been known as an income carrier. We've really specialized in income, specifically increasing income. It's been our bread and butter and something we've done very well. But as of late, we've seen a pretty big shift in the way annuities are utilized within the industry. There's been a lot more focus on accumulation-focused annuities. One thing that we've seen is it's actually basically flip-flopped 180 degrees. So if you would have looked at annuity sales 4 years ago, it would have been 60 to 70% income with 30 to 40% accumulation. Now it's virtually the opposite. So about 70% of sales now are accumulation-focused solutions. So we knew we had a huge opportunity to really dive into that space, but we also knew we had to become a lot more competitive. Just about 6 months ago, we only had one accumulation product on our shelf. We now have 3 to speak of, and this is our most recent one here that we launched, our Allianz Accumulation Advantage Plus. So this is actually our first ever bonus accumulation product. So what that means is it's a cash value bonus. There's no income rider on this. There's no income base. So this is a true walkaway bonus. So we're pretty excited to be able to have that. We know it's been pretty well utilized within the industry, but we did have our own kind of unique little spin on it. So one thing that we did is enhanced penalty-free withdrawals. I'll get into that a little bit more, but we wanted to offer some flexibility, a little bit more liquidity for your client. We also launched some new indexing, so we have some new index options available on this product. We have a new trigger method. I think that is really going to add to the simplicity of the product and be able to have a easy index or allocation for your clients to utilize. And then we also have enhanced allocation options, so that what that means is we're going to have the option to buy up rates. So if you're willing or able to pay a small fee, you can get some higher rates to be able to offer a little bit more upside potential. So if you're familiar with fixed index annuities, I won't spend too much time here, but really we're using for the growth potential, the tax deferral, but mainly the principal protection. When we look at this product, this is really just the specs at a glance. So this product will issue up to age 80. It's a $20,000 minimum to get into the contract. So to be able to start it, you need at least $20,000. It's 18-month flexible premium, so you can add any additional money for 18 months. Any money you do add would get the bonus. it would also be fully commissionable to you as the advisor. With this being a growth product here, it is premium banded, so depending on how much the application is initially funded, that'll determine the rates that you get. So under 100,000 compared to over 100,000 will have different rates. I will get to those shortly. But one thing to keep in mind is it is determined on how much premium is on the initial application at issue. So if you issue a policy around $95,000 and then you add, let's say, $15,000 to $20,000 down the road, that doesn't switch you over into the higher rate band. It is based off of premium at issue. All right, so getting into the exciting part of this product. So again, I mentioned that it was a cash value bonus. This product has a 13% premium bonus currently, which we are happy to say is the second highest among no-fee bonus products. So we're really excited where that number is at. Again, this is really going to help us generate some traction, but it's a great way to kind of, I don't know, have something that's going to get the client's attention and then be able to, give us a nice kickstart to the policy. So that 13% bonus, we get a lot of questions on what does that look like. There is a vesting schedule when it comes to this product. It is a 10-year vesting schedule, so it's going to vest at about 10% per year. Now, that will really only come into play if you are going to surrender or partially surrender the policy. The bonus is considered fully vested at any point of death or if you're utilizing free withdrawals. So really the only time I see this vesting schedule coming into play is if the policy is essentially utilized in a way it wasn't meant to, with being a partial surrender or full surrender. So one thing that I think is really unique about this product is the free withdrawal provision. A little bit unique to this one. Most of our products here, it's 10% of premium paid. With this bonus accumulation product, it's actually 10% of premium paid or the accumulation value, so whatever greater. Let's say for this example, a client put in $100,000. We get that 13% premium bonus in year one. We don't have the ability to take a free withdrawal in year one, so we have the ability to take that day one, year two. In this example, the accumulation value has grown to $117,520. So we would be able to take about $17,520 as a free withdrawal, compared to where we'd only be able to take $10,000 if it were just based off of initial premium. So it's a really nice feature to be able to have access to additional money as this policy is growing. But we at least know at the bare minimum, we're going to be able to take out 10% of that premium put in. So it can be safe, predictable payments. Otherwise, if it's growing, again, you'll have access to a little bit more money too. Now, what's unique is we actually have a carryover provision when it comes to the free withdrawal. So what that means is, let's say you don't use that 10% in year two or really any given year. That 10% now carries over into the next year, up to a maximum of 20%. So if we don't take that withdrawal in year two, we go over into year three, we now have access to take out 20%. So this is, again, going to give your client some additional liquidity, a little bit more flexibility, maybe less pressure to take out money each and every year. So this is a great feature, great tool to utilize. I think this is going to be something that's very attractive when it comes to this product. Now, it's not a use it or lose it. So what I mean by that is, even if, let's say, one year you only use a 5% withdrawal, that additional 5% would carry over into the next year. So that following year, you could take up to 15% as well. So again, just really nice flexibility and more liquidity to be able to access the money as needed. I mentioned it earlier, but we do have some new indexing options. So over the last few years, I'm sure you have all been bombarded with these new volatility controlled indexes. I know every carrier has them and everyone says they're the next and best thing. I think at this point, we're all kind of a little bit tired of these volatility controlled indexes. So what we wanted to be able to do was really offer something that was more equity focused. And that's what we were able to do. So we launched 3 new indexes, the S&P 500 futures. This is an index that's actually been around since 2010. So this isn't just a brand new index we launched or that's proprietary to us. There's actual back tested data on this. And what I think is really nice is, as I mentioned, there's no bond component on this, so you're not worrying about, hey, is this weighted too much into the bond component? Is that going to take away from the yield that we might be seeing on the equity side? This is a pure equity index that follows a 3-month look back on the S&P 500. Performance, again, has been very similar to what that S&P index has done. So usually it's around maybe 4 to 5% off of what the actual S&P is doing. And this is available on a participation rate for this product. So this is probably the closest thing that will get to an S&P par rate, but again, it's going to be really nice in the fact that we're expecting some great performance out of this, but it also gives us a little bit more upside potential having in a participation rate along with index lock. 2 other indexes that we launched along with this, so our Bloomberg 3 index. Again, what we wanted to do was get away from this shifting or weighting of these indexes. So there's no bond component to this. How it's going to be weighted is stated as you see. It's going to be 80% large cap, 10% small, and 10% tech. So this is just giving you more stability, more predictability on how this index is going to be weighted, what it's going to do. We're really hoping that this gives us more upside in comparison to what the equity market is doing. I know 2023 is kind of a great example of volatility controlled indexes lagging behind. I know the equity side was great. Bond performance was really down and kind of lagging behind. So you might have seen a lot of volatility controlled indexes not performing. That was a big component and a big proponent on why we wanted to get some of these more heavily weighted equity indexes. And then the last one here, a blended index. We've had something similar before, but really going to be nice in the fact that, again, stated how it's going to be weighted, 40% bond, 60% equity. All right, so probably one of the things that I'm most excited about here is our S&P trigger rate. So for those of you that aren't familiar with a trigger rate, what that means is as long as the index that it's tracking is flat or positive, you're going to get a stated return. So in this case, our trigger rate on the S&P is 5%. As long as that S&P index is flat or positive, you're getting a 5% credit. If the S&P does 2%, if it does 0, you're getting 5. And then on the flip side too, if it does perform above that 5%, you are limited to only 5. The only situation you're not getting a return is if the S&P 500 is down. Now, if we look back at historical data over the last 20 years,
Dylan,
this trigger rate would have got
lost audio.
Hey, can you hear me? Hey, Justin, can you hear me?
Oh, there you are. Are you there, Dylan?
Hey, Justin, you there?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it may have been something happened, but we're back.
Okay, sure. Sorry about that. But yeah, as I was saying here, this trigger rate, if you look at historical performance over the last 20 years, this would have been positive, or you would have got a 5% credit 80% of the time. So I think this is just a really simple, easy story to be able to talk through and communicate with clients. They all know about the S&P 500, and then just going over the simplicity of it, I think is going to be a really nice solution to have. All right. I'm going to skip past index lock. I think most of you are probably familiar with index lock and how that works. If you're not, feel free to reach out to Justin and team or even myself. We can always run through that. But I want to make sure we have some time here to cover the rates. One thing I did allude to earlier is that this index actually, or this product actually has buy-up rates. So if you're willing to pay a fee of 95 basis points in this case, you have the opportunity to have a higher participation rate or cap, whatever it might be. So this is something that, I think we're going to see utilized whenever we're expecting a strong performance out of the market. You think it's going to be a great year for equities or whatever it might be. That's an opportunity to where you could use these enhanced rates. What's nice is you actually have the flexibility to choose whether you want the standard or enhanced rates each and every year. It's not something you have to elect on the initial application. As long as it's coming due to be able to reallocate, you can change in and out of these standard or enhanced indexes or rates. Pulling up the rate sheet here. So as I mentioned, this product is premium banded, so this is premium greater than 100,000. This is what the rates are going to look like. Probably a lot to digest, so I will make sure to really talk through this, but we do have quite a few indexing opportunities, as you can see. We did color code this just to make it a little bit easier to read, and this is what our rate sheet will look like as well. But any of these green options, as you can see here, are going to be our standard options. This means that they have no charge on them or never will have a charge. These options here in the blue are the enhanced version, so if you want to pay that 95 basis points charge, you'll get higher rates. You'll see that here. And then in the pinkish purple, we have our 5-year rates. So these should or would look green at this point. So they're the standard rates. They don't have a fee, but the 5-year version can have what we call an allocation charge rider. So that would be 95 basis points. What that means is in scenarios of, or certain scenarios or certain economic events, there's 3 different triggering events. One being the 10-year treasury averaging below 50 basis points for the year, which has never happened to this point. We could potentially put a charge on this 5-year index. Really what that's meant to do is in tough economic situations or scenarios, we want to make sure we can still not guarantee, but ensure we can keep the product as sold. So we want to make sure that we don't have to diminish the product value if the market or the economic scenario dictates otherwise. This is really kind of a safety net or lever for us to pull in tough economic situations to be able to keep the product competitive and what the client bought in the first place. So it's not something that's on there currently, but on this 5-year option, you could see it if certain economic events happen. One thing I do want to point out, though, is there is a lot going on. This product in its core is extremely simple. Again, there's no income rider on it. Pure growth, pure accumulation vehicle. And if you want to keep it simple, we do have some very standard allocation options. You could always go with our fixed rate, which is 3.3. We have a straight up S&P cap at 6.5. That trigger rate, as I mentioned. But if you want to get a little bit more, I guess, aggressive, we do have other solutions that you can use as well. So it's extremely flexible on how you want it to be utilized. If you have a little bit more savvy client as an investor, you could use some of these other allocation options. But I think these 2-year options, these 5-year options will provide a lot more upside paired with index lock to give you a little bit more control over what you can earn. All right, and here is the premium for under 100,000. You can see there's not a huge difference in the rates. The fixed rate goes from 3.3 to 3, S&P from 6.5 to 5. So again, these are going to be very competitive. So hopefully this is something that you all might be able to utilize within your practice. I know we're pretty excited to have this available and on our platform. This is only about 2 weeks old, so hoping to get the word out. And if you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out to Justin and his team. We're also here to be a resource as well at Allianz and happy to answer any questions that might come up. But with that, Justin, I will turn it back over to you.
I appreciate it, my friend. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for that. I've got some polling questions, which, as many of you know on the phone, we're going to use to cater what we send over to you after the events and prioritize who to reach out to first, et cetera. So we're going to go through a couple of those, and then I can definitely, if you have questions on index lock, reach out to me or your ASD, and we'll get it all taken care of. Go from there. First polling question is, if you're not already, would you like to a contract with Allianz for annuities? It is a different contract than the life. So Allianz Preferred, if you'd like a contract sent over to you, Insurance Bay, to add that to your list of IAMS contracts, just let us know and we'll definitely do that. Excuse me. Thank you. Excellent. Okay. So thank you very much for your responses on that. We'll go ahead and close this one down. And next one would be any of you that have not, if you're not on the consideration list for our upcoming academy, if you would like to be on that list, we're going to have future dates as well as we've got one coming up here soon in May. But definitely education opportunity next to other advisors. All expenses paid. If you'd be interested, definitely add yourself to that list. We'll make sure that whoever you work with here gets that information over to you. Appreciate everybody's time on these. As we're closing this up here, we'll give it about seconds here. Very good. Thank you. And then this one, as it relates to, it's a fancy way of saying, would you like to see an illustration for anybody you're working on now? So if you've got any client right now, particularly those, or if it's a direction you're wanting to go, give the client or yourself a stronger handle on their fixed income alternative accumulation vehicle, this would be a great opportunity to go that direction, especially with index lock. I know we didn't cover it, but you literally hand the joystick, or the client has the ability to pick up the joystick and control, even locking in rates of return, setting stop losses on different indices, and then we've got the bonus. So if that would work, or if you have any questions, let us know, and we'll definitely call you and get a design going. Thank you for that. And last but not least, if you're saying, hey, I love the product, but I need more people to see, which we all need more people to see, myself included. If you would be interested in hearing about our updated client acquisition programs, appointment set programs, I know we've added a couple of different programs from the beginning of the year, one of which is our Federal Bridge program. If you have ever wanted to specialize or change specializations and be a specialist in one market, no better place, I say that, there probably is a couple, but great place would be a start within the federal market. You've got countless employees, large percentage of individuals with no help whatsoever as it relates to their retirement, but tons of money inside of an ERISA plan and others. But they need someone who knows what they're talking about. So we have a complete training program put together by an individual that's been doing it for years to go through and essentially turn and mold an agent into a government specialist. From there, we have appointment programs to help set up appointments for federal employees. So if you'd like to see more on those, let us know. We can definitely do that. And excellent. Really appreciate your time. I'll be getting an email out package to each of you with just information we discussed today. But if you have any questions prior to us reaching out, definitely call in 800-255-5055. Look forward to meeting with you and talking with you about the new Accumulation Accelerator Plus with Allianz. Have a great day. Dylan, thank you very much for your time as well. Audience and Dylan, have a great afternoon. Talk to you soon.